Come with us on this journey. Ow! Welcome to Midwest Reels Season 3. I feel like it needs a subtitle or something. Season 3. Growth years.
The growth years.
I don't know.
I like that. The pivot.
The pivot. Okay, that's good too.
We'll call that.
So this is Season 3 of the Zen Like Productions podcast. I'm Jim Light. This is Robert Jarzen. We are Zen Like. And we have been making short films, and if you've been following our journey, hopefully you have, and you've seen some of the work that we've done. We have a new short film that we have just finished and are going to start submitting to film festivals. And through this podcast, we want to talk about, well, a lot of things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What we've learned in we've been doing this for 16 years. We've been making films on and off, and what we've learned, we're still learning. We're still wading through the waters of how to make a short film, and what we've learned, what we still need to learn and get better at, and hopefully, this will at the very least be interesting to you to watch, and possibly even maybe inspire you to exercise your creative juices as well.
I like that. That's one of the main things that I'm hoping that we can accomplish with this new podcast that we're doing, the new season. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, which you covered basically why we're doing this, but also the fact that you don't need to have a huge budget to do something that's good.
Which we obviously don't.
No, we don't. No, we don't. One of the things I'd really like to talk about is sort of like how, yes, we've been doing films for about 15, 16 years. There was a period where we kind of didn't do a lot of stuff. We were doing individual things, plus our day jobs, as they say. But we sort of really got into it and started making more films within the last 3 years, like consistently, correct?
Yeah. We, I think it was it Meeting Dad that got us restarted?
And that's what I wanted to sort of talk about was the last series, because we can later on, as we're doing these, we can talk about the earlier ones, which were obviously fun and a great experience. But since Meeting Dad, When I Go, Space Between, we've kind of gotten a little bit more, I don't want to say serious, but wouldn't you say a little bit more detail-oriented, a little bit more organized?
Yeah, I mean, we completely changed. We started out doing films for the 48-hour film project based out of Madison.
Right.
And those were generally, 7-minute films was, I think, the limit of those.
Correct.
And we literally had 48 hours to make them. We were given prompts, and, we were starting at Friday night at 7 p.m. and we had to have a finished product by Sunday at 7 p.m.
And when you say prompts, obviously I know what you're talking about. What do you mean? So I remember they had like a hat or a bowl.
Right.
And then what did they do from there?
So we had to pull out, before you went to make the film, you had no idea what you were going to make. So you pulled a genre out of a hat, and it could be musical, it could be comedy, it could be buddy film, it could be
Western. I mean,
there was
a whole bunch of different random ones.
There were several different ones, and we got film noir once, we got buddy film.
Buddy film was first.
That was the very first one that we got. And then you had to include a character that had a certain name and a certain occupation, and you had to include a certain prop in it.
And a line.
And so that helped guarantee that you were actually doing the work within the 48 hours and you didn't have something prepared ahead of time. And I think we kind of burned out on that after we did 3 or 4 of them.
Yes.
And took some time off. And then when we came back, we decided, well, let's do something on our own timeline, something a little longer form that we could develop the story more and put some more thought and effort into. And that's what got us going again and kind of relaunched Zen Like Productions.
And then that brings us to, there was a couple obviously in between, Fruit Loops, which was the first 48-hour one, to Meeting Dad, which is, in my opinion, sort of like the turning point is when we started to get, I don't want to say the word better, but we started getting a little bit better. And so
we dabbled in a longer form. We did Intersection.
Oh, that's right.
So we've got it in 2 pieces on YouTube because back then you couldn't go more than like 10 minutes.
Right.
So.
No, that's right. I forgot about that one. So thanks for bringing that up. So just really quick then, off the top of your head, do you remember what they were then? So it's got Fruit Loops.
Written Off. We did Fruit Loops. We did Written Off.
Right.
We did Rocky Road, which was kind of a sequel to Fruit Loops.
Right.
And in between okay, so it must have been 2011. In between Written Off and Rocky Road, we did Intersection.
Okay. Okay.
And then I think we kind of took.
No, we did a couple of like really like super shorts. Like we did one called That's Showbiz.
Oh yeah, we did
which is
That's Showbiz.
only like a minute long,
Mhm.
super short.
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones in there that I'm blanking out the titles, but each one of them kind of progressed us because we were learning and trying different things, which was the whole point of them all. To try new techniques, new ways to sort of film something on a shoestring budget. Because basically, also our cast, well, not cast, I'm sorry, our crew is what you see right here.
Yeah,
I
basically.
mean, pretty much until we got to Meeting Dad, then we brought somebody else in,
Mhm.
brought a few other people to help us. So from Meeting Dad, going to that to then, well, actually, Meeting Dad, we shot over a weekend, Friday and a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Budget was about maybe $200 ish, I think, is what we
If
spent.
that,
It
yeah.
was on food mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to When I Go, which is based on.
Based on a play that I wrote at JPAC that we condensed from a 90-minute play into a 20-minute short film, and actually used the same lead actors that had been in the play version that we did at the James Hope Performing Arts Center.
When you're doing a play, obviously it's done in order because it's on stage and it's live. But when you're doing a film, you kind of have to do your scenes out of order, or the best way to film them with the scheduling for the actors or locations. So because Meeting Dad was out in the path behind Mocha Moment.
Right.
And then When I Go was the second one, but that was also, we only shot that in one day.
Yeah. When I Go is a whole drama in itself.
Right.
Because the weather messed. We were really dealing with the availability of the actors, and we really wanted these two actors, Amanda Rodriguez and Chloe Atala, because they were so good in their roles in the play. And we really wanted them to recreate those roles. You know, I like what we did with When I Go, but I look at it and I think what could have been.
Absolutely.
And part of it is, weather and rushing, but part of it honestly was how I condensed the script. I feel like there are things I should have done differently with condensing my script. I mean,
But-
the actors did a fantastic job, and we did the best with what we could with weather and everything else, and the location. We had chosen a location that nobody ever goes to, and the one day we were there, everybody suddenly discovered it.
That
and
park was so busy.
working around it. And, I'd been there. It was right by my workplace. I'd been there dozens of times. Nobody was ever there.
Someone called the
This
cops on us.
particular-
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure a cop shows up.
Yeah, this particular day. Oh,
Yeah, I definitely want to talk on that a little bit more too, about how to deal with actors, locations, and the things that we learned from that, because then that takes us to then the third one, Space Between, which we said then after those two experiences, we were going to have read-throughs. So that way the actors knew sort of what was going on, and so we could tweak the script and get it a little bit better, which we did. We also had more time to film that one. We gave ourselves 6 days, I think it was, which over a month and a half period. It wasn't
Right.
6 consecutive days, and technically, actually, it was even over a longer period because we had to do some shots with you as you were aged, and some scenes, and exterior scenes where it had to be at a different season. So really, we shot that over maybe an 8-month window, but only 1 hour here, 1 hour here, then the 5 days. But what do you think that we learned then from to sort of like sum all this up, of going from Fruit Loops all the way through these to this last one that we did, and then talking about some of the next ones? What do you think that we learned just overall as a production team, and how to handle doing things on your own on a total shoestring budget and just making your own films?
Well, one of the things we've learned is that you can't rush things. You have to, we have to have a plan B. We have to allow plenty of time so that we can do things the way that we want to do them. And we need to have actors that have flexibility so that we can, we have more than one day with them.
Right.
And again, I'm not blaming, Amanda or Chloe. I mean,
Oh.
they were good enough that,
No.
we just wanted them no matter how we could get them.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
So there's a lot of things that we've been continuing to learn.
Getting
as
better
we
and better, I
progress.
think, too.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
So we've been improving the production schedule, and we've been improving how we allocate, even though it's low budget, spending the money and our time
Hmm.
and the equipment that we use.
Hmm.
And I think that that's a great sort of a preface of what we are going to be talking about during this entire podcast,
Hmm.
is a little bit more detailed into how we've been making these films, diving deeper into some of these stories, because I think there's some funny stories that have
Hmm.
happened, and like hitting cameras and knocking things like that because you're in a tight space. I need to do a shot where you can see where we are, because this probably looks halfway decent, like a good space when you're looking through the cameras, but we are in a cramped little corner of my basement. So that pretty much wraps it up, I think, for this first
For
one.
episode one.
For episode one, I'm looking forward to seeing where this takes us and what we talk about in the next ones. Any
Mhm.
closing thoughts?
Well, come with us on this journey, and hopefully, like I said earlier, um, our experiences will inspire you to be creative and exercise your creative muscles, so to speak.
That's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Real Wisconsin.
Or Midwest Reel.
Did I get it wrong? Did I get it wrong
You
again?
keep wanting to change the name of this thing.
Say, start over.
Come with us on this journey.